Hello and welcome to Plus TV Africa. I am Felicity Ezewike with the news on the hour. Work at the terminal of the Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, is to be delayed due to a reduction in the cost of repairs by 75%. President Muhammadu Buhari disclosed this on his official Twitter handle after the signing of the 2018 budget yesterday. According to him, the provisions for the construction of the terminal at the airport in the budget was cut from 2 billion naira to 500 million naira. Since the project commenced a few years ago after the airport's upgrade to an international airport, no definite completion date has been set for the terminal's completion. Members of the Nigerian Union of Journalists in Ekiti State have called on residents to shun electoral violence ahead of the July 14 gubernatorial election in the state. The journalists who marched through the streets of Ado-Ekiti, the state capital, urged residents not to participate in any plans of or violence before, during and after the exercise. Residents were also encouraged to conduct themselves peacefully. Ekiti NUJ chairman Rotimi Ojomoyela said the rally was the contribution of the NUJ to a peaceful electoral process and warned politicians against using youths as dogs. Workers in the 3 colleges of education in Kwara State, under the platform of the Committee of Unions of Tertiary Institutions of Colleges of Education, have commenced an indefinite strike. Speaking on Wednesday in Ilori, Secretary, Senior Staff Union of Colleges of Education, Abdul Hamad Yusuf, said the union had presented a 5-point demand to the government, which is yet to be honored. The demands include payment of backlog of salaries, 30% salary increment, the release of funds for accreditation of courses, promotions and payment of promotion benefits that have accrued since 2013. Academic activities have been reportedly paralyzed in the 3 colleges of education in Ilori, Oro and Lafiegi. Hadia Zainab Yako, wife of former Adamawa State Governor Murtala Yako, has died in Yola at 63. She died yesterday at the Federal Medical Center, Yola, after she collapsed and was rushed there due to an undisclosed illness. The late Hadia Zainab, who ran the Women's Empowerment Education Initiative during her husband's tenure, has been laid to rest at a family cemetery within Murtala Yako's home in Dimeta. And on the foreign scene, President of the United States, Donald Trump, has finally signed the executive order stopping the separation of families at the U.S. border due to pressure to review his immigration policy. While signing the executive order, Trump said he considered it a very important order because it is about keeping families together. Trump added that this will ensure that America has a very powerful, very secure border, which will be equal, if not greater, than it has been. He further stated that this executive order will ensure that as families stay together, the United States will have a lot of happy people around. Meanwhile, Turkey will begin implementing retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. today. This comes after the United States imposed additional tariffs of 25% on steel and 10% on aluminium earlier this year in March. The retaliatory tariffs are said to be worth $266.5 million. The Turkish government has placed tariffs on U.S. imports of coal, paper, walnut, almonds, tobacco, unprocessed rice, whiskey, automobiles, cosmetics, machinery equipment, and petrochemical products. While Turkey imposed the tariffs to protect its interest, it stated that it has, however, not ruled out negotiations. Japanese local media have reported that Japan has decided to halt its drills against North Korea after the Singapore summit between Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump. Last week's historic summit was the first of many steps towards the complete denuclearization of North Korea, with the U.S. also agreeing to end its military exercises with South Korea. Although Japan was in support of the Singapore summit and it plans to denuclearize North Korea, the Abe administration also urged that the U.S.-South Korea military exercise were important in deterring North Korean threats. Still on the foreign scene, the Iraqi Supreme Court has ruled that the decision to cancel overseas displaced and Peshmerga votes in last month's May 12 parliamentary election was unconstitutional. The Iraqi parliament has demanded an immediate recount of votes, which will result in an election rerun. The parliamentary election had been the first in Iraq since the inception of ISIS in the region. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has just become the second elected leader in history to give birth while in office. Ardern was admitted to a hospital in Auckland 4 days after her due date, where she delivered her first child, a baby girl. Her Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters will take over for the 6 weeks she will be on maternity leave. Ardern announced in January that she and her partner, Clark Gayford, were expecting a baby. She was elected into office in October and is the youngest prime minister the country has had since 1868. The European Court of Human Rights has rejected an appeal by Norwegian Oslo mass murderer Anders Breivik, who killed 77 people in a shooting spree in 2011. Breivik says his prison conditions remain inhuman and degrading. According to a court website, the court found that his condition did not show any violations of human rights and his near isolation in a 3-room prison cell respected human rights. The appeal has since been rejected. And in business, according to a circular released on Wednesday by the Debt Management Office, Nigeria recorded an aggregate of 22.71 trillion naira in public debt in the first quarter of 2018, as compared to 21.73 trillion naira in December of 2017. This showed a 4.52% increase in the first 3 months of the year. According to the DMO, the increase in debt margin was a result of an increase in the domestic debts of states, which involved an increase in the internal debt stock through new external borrowing, which rose to 30% by March 31, 2018, and subsisting the cost debt with low-cost external debt. It stated that a $2.5 billion Euro bond, which was issued in February this year, and its proceeds, which are still being deployed to redeem maturing domestic debt, was also a reason for the increased accumulated public debt. The Bank of Industry, BOI, confirmed that the bank has set aside 1 billion naira to support fashion entrepreneurs in Nigeria. Interested entrepreneurs, according to the bank, must be into the production and marketing of fashion items, which include shoes, jewelry, handbags, clothes, and other fashion items. BOI also pledged to support players in the fashion industry on packages that can improve financial literacy and entrepreneurial development. On its website, it explicitly states that the bank will only consider Nigerian companies, specifically limited liability companies. Applicants can get the maximum of 30 million naira. People interested are required to pay 1% appraisal fee, 1% commitment fee, 0.125% monitoring fee, and the interest rate on loan amount is pegged at 9% per annum, which is payable at the end of every month. The loan has a 5-year tenure. Udoka is up next with entertainment and sports news. Hello, Udoka.
I am Udoka Njoku, and this is the entertainment segment on Plus TV Africa. American professional wrestler and professional football player Leon Allen White, popularly known as Big Van Vader, has died after battling congestive heart failure for over 2 years. He was 63 years of age when he died and was confirmed by his son via social media. And according to him, Vader had undergone open heart surgery back in March and was recovering well before things took a turn for the worse and wasn't able to recover. And for Vader, he was a huge international star who was not only a 3-time World Championship Wrestling Heavyweight champ, but battled wrestlers like The Undertaker and Kane in the World Wrestling Entertainment, that's the WWE. He also featured in Baywatch and Boy Meets World, some of the TV shows that he also made appearances in. And still on entertainment, after 13 years of marriage, Grammy Award winner Mary J. Blige and husband Kendu Isaacs, after settling their divorce out of court 3 months prior, are now officially divorced. A report say that court documents show that the divorce was signed off on Wednesday by Los Angeles County Superior Court's judge. And last year, Mary J. Blige was ordered to temporarily pay Isaacs $30,000 a month for spousal support, and she was also to pay $135,000 retroactively dating back to the 1st of September 2016 and $100,000 in attorney fees. And this year, it has been busy for Mary J. Blige, who has been nominated for 2 Oscars, the Best Supporting Actress and Best Original Song for Mudbound. And 35-year-old actress is set to talk about her rise to fame in her upcoming memoir that's unfinished, which will include her birth in India, winning Miss World in 2000, to her present life as a Hollywood movie star. And the actress is hoping her story will motivate people, especially women who want to achieve their aims and shatter glass ceilings. In a press statement released, she said the spice of the book will be interesting, funny, spirited, and bold, just the way she is. She also said she has always been a private person and she has never spoken about her journey, but she is ready to do so now. The star's journey into her inspiring memoir came after she campaigned for women's rights, and she recently has been rooting out her feet to get equality for women in the movie industry. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, it will be Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. And in sports, talking about the World Cup happening in FIFA, Dele Alli missed England's training as his thigh injury continues to be monitored before the Three Lions match against Panama. The Tottenham player suffered the problem during the 2-1 victory over Group G rivals Tunisia, although he managed to play for 80 minutes. Meanwhile, the manager, Gareth Southgate, has discarded his sling as he recovers from a dislocated shoulder. The 47-year-old fell during a run near England's World Cup camp in Rapinoe and was treated in a nearby hospital. And for Emre Can, he's set to finalize his move to Juve from Liverpool after arriving in Turin that was early this morning. 24-year-old Germany international is expected to have a medical with the Italian champions. And Liverpool announced on 8th of June that Can, who joined from Bayer Leverkusen in July 2014, would leave the club when his contract expires this summer. He made his 167th and final Liverpool appearance in last month's Champions League final defeat by Real Madrid. And Can, who scored 14 goals for Liverpool, has 20 caps for Germany, but missed out on Joachim Löw's World Cup squad. And still on sports, the FIFA Disciplinary Committee has imposed a 10,000 Swiss francs fine on both the Mexican Football Federation and the Serbian Football Federation for the misconduct of their fans. And FIFA said in a statement on Thursday that the committee measure, which was in line with the Article 67 of its disciplinary code, was in relation to discriminatory and insulting chants by the fans. And the Mexicans committed the offense during the first half of the 2018 FIFA World Cup match played between Germany and Mexico on Sunday at the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow. And FIFA has a zero-tolerance approach to discrimination and has stated it would not tolerate such behavior from fans in the stadium. And a series of measures to fight discrimination and promote diversity have been implemented, including an anti-discrimination monitoring system, which has been active since 2015. And furthermore, FIFA has published a good practice guide on diversity and anti-discrimination to support all of its member associations. And going over to the transfer news, Manchester City are close to completing the signing of Jorginho after agreeing an initial fee of €49 million, which approximates to £43 million, with Napoli for the Italian midfielder. And after weeks of negotiations with the Napoli counterparts over the Brazil-born 26-year-old, City finally made a breakthrough this week and are now hopeful of finalizing the deal in the next few days. And reports in Italy claim that Jorginho and his agent arrived in London on Wednesday, with further meetings scheduled to discuss bonuses, which could total up to £5 million. He's expected to sign a 5-year deal at the Etihad Stadium and become City's first signing of the summer. And that's much you can take for Sport Update on Plus TV Africa. Back to you, Felicity.
Thank you, Udoka. And that's the news at this hour. My name is Felicity Ezewike. Thanks for watching.